So now let us move on to the next permanent tissue, which is the phloem. So like the xylem which conducts water and minerals, phloem will conduct food materials. Right? So phloem transports food materials from where to where? It usually transports it from the leaves to other parts of the plant. And we know that leaf are the photosynthetic part of a plant, and that part is the one which produces the food. So what do the phloem do? The phloems will transport food materials from leaves to other part of the plant. Okay, and in angiosperms, that is in flowering plants, phloem is composed of 4 different types of elements. Like the xylem, it also is made up of 4 different types of elements, right? So the first one is sieve tube elements, okay, and then companion cells, then phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So these are the 4 different elements of the phloem. Okay, like we had 4 different elements in xylem, here also phloem also has 4 different elements. Okay, and what is the phloem composed of? It is composed of sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. And if you take the case of the non-flowering plants, they have albuminous cells and sieve cells. What do they have? They have albuminous cells and sieve cells, and they lack sieve tubes and companion cells. Right? So gymnosperms will not have sieve tubes and companion cells. Instead, they have albuminous cells and sieve cells. Okay. Now let us see in detail about each of these elements. Now coming to the first one, which is the sieve tube elements. So what are the sieve tube elements? You can see it here. This is the sieve tube elements. The part which you see here is the sieve tube elements, right? This one. I hope you are able to see it, right? So this is the sieve tube elements. So these are long tube-like structures. Okay, how are they? They are long and they are tube-like structures arranged longitudinally. Arranged longitudinally, it is seen straight. Okay, it is arranged longitudinally and are associated with companion cells. You can see a nearby pink-shaped cell which is called as the companion cell. Okay, so always the sieve tube elements are arranged longitudinally and are associated with the companion cells. അതിനർത്ഥം എന്താ? എപ്പോഴും ഈ companion cellsനോട് attached ആയിരിക്കും. Okay, ഒരുമിച്ചായിരിക്കും ഇതുണ്ടാവുക. And their end walls are perforated to form sieve plates. You can see in this diagram, they have shown the end walls. You can see the end walls here. This is the end wall of the of one sieve tube element. Okay, and in their end walls, they are perforated to form the sieve plates. You can see many perforations here. Perforations means small holes, right? So they are perforated to form the sieve plates. So these are all sieve plates. Okay, so they are perforated to form the sieve plates. And a mature sieve plate has a peripheral cytoplasm and a large vacuole but lack nucleus. ഒരു മെച്യൂർ ആയ സീവ് എലമെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ഹാവ് എ പെരിഫറൽ സൈറ്റോപ്ലാസം. ദറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇൻ ദ ഔട്ടർ പോർഷൻ ഓഫ് ദ സെൽ. ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ഹാവ് ദ സൈറ്റോപ്ലാസം ആൻഡ് എ ലാർജ് വാക്യൂൾ ഓൾസോ. വാക്യൂൾ ഇസ് ദ എംപ്റ്റി സ്പേസ് ബട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ലാക്സ് ദ ന്യൂക്ലിയസ്. ഹൂ ഇസ് ലാക്കിംഗ് ദ ന്യൂക്ലിയസ്? It is the sieve tube element or the sieve tubes. So this part will lack the nucleus and they have peripheral cytoplasm and large vacuole in the mature sieve element. Okay, and what are the functions of these sieve tubes? The functions of sieve tubes are being controlled by nucleus of the companion cell. So as there is the cytoplasm and the large vacuole, we can say that these are cells which are alive. They are not dead cells. Okay, and same way, as they don't have a nucleus, who is controlling the sieve tube element? It is the nearby companion cell. So the functions of the sieve tubes are controlled by the nucleus of the companion cell. You can see the companion cell here and you can see the nucleus. As they are associated with the companion cells, these nucleus in the companion cell will control the sieve tubes. Okay, clear with that? And first formed primary phloem is called protophlloem and it consists of narrow sieve tubes. And later formed phloem is called metaphloem and have big sieve tubes. Okay, protophlorium narrow sieve tubes ആണ്. Narrow എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ചെറിയ അതിൻ്റെ സ്പേസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ചെറുതായിരിക്കും. And metaphlorium, it has a big sieve tube, which means that it has bigger space in that. Okay, now what is the function of this phloem? It helps in the conduction of food material from leaves. Phloem means the sieve tube elements. What is the function of sieve tube elements? It helps in conduction of food material from the leaves. Leaves in the ഭക്ഷണത്തിനെ conduct ചെയ്ത് മൂവ് ചെയ്യാനാണ് ഇവരെ സഹായിക്കുന്നത്. Okay, now let us see about the next phloem element, which is called as companion cell. So these companion cells are the specialized parenchymatous cell. You can see the companion cells here, right? These pink colored structures are the companion cells. So what are these? These are specialized parenchymatous cells which are associated with the sieve tube elements. And how are they present? They are present attached or associated with the sieve tube elements. And sieve tube elements and companion cells are connected by pit fields present between their common longitudinal wall. Okay, so how are the sieve tube element and the companion cells connected? So we told that they both are arranged near each other and they are connected to each other, right? And how are they connected? It is connected by pit fields present between their common longitudinal walls. Okay, what are these pit fields? These pit fields are nothing but, so they are connected by pit fields which are present between their common longitudinal walls. So this is the common longitudinal wall, and here you can find a pit field. So what are these pit fields? These are thin portions of cell wall that adjacent cells can communicate or exchange fluid through. Okay, so this is how the pit fields will be. Okay, and where are they present? They are present between their common longitudinal axis. So this is the longitudinal wall, that is axis, not wall. So this is the longitudinal axis of the companion cell, and this is the longitudinal axis of the sieve tube element, right? So this is sieve tube element, this one is the companion cell, right? So they both can connect to one another. They are connected to one another by the pit fields present between their common longitudinal walls. And what is the function of this companion cell? They maintain the pressure gradient in the sieve tubes. So as this is a living cell, automatically there are many chemical activities going on inside the cell, and it is there a need for the maintenance of pressure gradient in the sieve tubes. So the companion cells will help in maintaining the pressure gradient in the sieve tubes. Okay, clear with the children? Now let us move on to the next part. So now let us learn about phloem, that is phloem parenchyma. So it is made up of elongated, tapering, cylindrical cells having dense cytoplasm and nucleus. How is it made up of? It is made up of elongated. You can see again it is elongated, and they have tapering cylindrical cells having dense cytoplasm and nucleus. And what do they have? These phloem parenchyma will have a dense cytoplasm and nucleus, and along with that they have tapering cylindrical cells. So they are elongated, tapering cylindrical cells and have dense cytoplasm and nucleus. Okay, tapering means it is the it is becoming thinner or narrower towards one end. That is called tapering cylindrical cells. They are cylindrical shaped tapering cylindrical cells. What is tapering? It is becoming thinner or narrower towards one end. Okay, and how is the cell wall made up of? The cell wall is made up of cellulose. It is made up of a substance which is called as cellulose, and it has pits through which plasmodesmatal connections exist between the cells. So in this phloem parenchyma, there is the presence of many pits through which plasmodesmatal connections exist between the cells. What is this plasmodesmatal connection? So this plasmodesmatal connection is nothing but it is a narrow thread of cytoplasm that passes through the cell walls of adjacent cells. Okay, but idinna varuna oru narrow cytoplasm aanu, and this cytoplasm will help in passing through the cell walls of adjacent plant cell, and they will help in communication between the cells. Okay, and phloem parenchyma is absent in most of the monocots. That is monocot plants. What are their functions? It stores food material and other substances like resins, latex and mucilage. Okay, so these are all secretions of the plant. So all these are stored in the phloem parenchyma. So it stores food material, other substances like resins, latex and mucilage. Right, children? I hope you are clear with it, right? Now let us move on to the next part. Now let us see about the phloem or the bast fibers. What is it? Bast fibers. Okay, so these are made up of sclerenchymatous cells. Okay, so these are made up of sclerenchymatous cells and they are generally absent in the primary phloem but are found in the secondary phloem. Right? So these are present in the secondary phloem but they are generally absent in the primary phloem. Okay, now what are this primary and secondary phloem? So they are absent in primary phloem but they are present in secondary phloem. And what is it made up of? It is made up of sclerenchymatous cells and these are elongated, unbranched and have pointed needle-like apex and thick cell wall. Okay, so how are these? These are elongated. You can see the elongation of this fiber and they are unbranched. They don't have any branches and have pointed needle-like apexes. Their apex portion will be like a pointed needle and have thick cell wall. You can see the thickness of the cell wall, right? So at maturity, these fibers will lose protoplasm and they become dead. So at the time of maturity, these fibers will lose the protoplasm and they will become dead. Phloem fibers of jute, flax and hemp have commercial uses. You would have heard about the jute, flax and hemp. So they are of commercial uses. And what is the function of this? It provides mechanical support and protection to the soft tissues. Okay, so it is providing mechanical support and protection to the soft tissues. Okay, so these are the different permanent tissues which comes under the complex tissue called as phloem. Okay, I hope you are clear with it. Now let us move on to the next part, children. Please read your textbook properly, only then you will be able to clearly understand the different points which I have told here. So all these things you have to by heart, children. It is very important to know about all these xylem and phloem because your later part of the chapter you will be learning in detail about all this. Okay.